Welcome back to CPAC Day 2. We are here at the RSBN booth with Miss Erika Donalds, CEO of Optimum Academy, and she recently joined America First Policy Institute as Chair and Center of Education Opportunity and Chair of the AFPI Florida State Chapter. How are you doing today?
I'm awesome.
Amazing.
Happy to be in Washington, D.C., even though it's cold.
Yes.
But there's so much going on here, so much excitement.
How have you been enjoying CPAC so far?
Oh, it's been amazing. Actually, last night I was on my way here from the White House from the Black History Month celebration. And as I was getting out of the car for CPAC, got the news that Donald Trump had endorsed my husband for governor.
Yes.
And so we've just been excited to talk to everybody about both education and, of course, all the excitement around Florida, what's happening there.
Well, we were hoping, we know he might be here today. We hope to see him at the booth, of course. But I know you focus a lot on education specifically. As I stated, you recently joined America First Policy Institute, and you've done a lot of work in the state of Florida specifically. And Florida's acted as really a model in a lot of ways, specifically with school choice. And I know that's one of your passions to talk about as well. You're a mother of 3 boys. And I'd like to know, too, how that's affected you personally and how you would like to apply that with President Trump's agenda as applying school choice nationally.
Well, like you said, I have been involved in school choice in Florida for over a decade now, but it started with running for school board, just wanting to do something for my community. I was in investment management for 20 years.
Yes.
And then one of my kids, the school wasn't working for him. And I thought, well, there's probably other parents out there and I can do something to help. But serving on the local school board showed me how broken our education system is. And I decided to leave my career, start some charter schools, help work on state policy where Florida thankfully has expanded into universal school choice. Many other states are following suit. And now with President Trump and his agenda at the federal level, I'm able to use this position at America's First Policy Institute and my background to help enact that agenda.
Yes, well, a lot of things coming out of D.C., especially with the Department of Education recently. We've been seeing a lot coming out of an account on X, Chris Rufo with the Manhattan Institute, actually, and he's been breaking down a lot of the spending with the Department of Education. We saw 10 billion, is that correct? Amount money coming out of the Department of Education for DEI policy specifically.
Right.
Yeah. So
DOJ has now been in exposing waste, fraud, and abuse across departments, but especially in the Department of Education, where billions of dollars is being wasted on DEI programs, equity-based hiring, and things that are not helping our children to succeed academically, which is supposed to be the purpose of the department. We learned in January that only 1/3 of our students can read or do math proficiently. 1/3 across the entire country. And in certain demographics, it's down well below that. So we have failed our students. The Department of Education has failed in its mission, and that's why President Trump ran on and intends to fulfill the promise of dismantling it.
Yes, and not only in that, what we have seen with RK Jr. coming into as HHS Secretary, focusing on our children's health as well as education being a priority for President Trump. I also wanted to get your take as well on Linda McMahon, her, we were just talking off air a little bit. You were at her confirmation hearing. Hopefully we're going to be seeing a vote in the near future. But what will be some of the priorities that will take place once she is, head of the Department of Education?
Well, President Trump said the other day that he hired Linda McMahon and appointed her so that she could get rid of her job.
Yes.
And if she's successful, the department will be gone by the time she's done with it, which I think is amazing. She is an incredible executive, obviously very accomplished, having run WWE, but she also has the experience running the SBA in Trump's last term. So she knows what it's like to be head of a department. And I think she's the perfect choice. We're already seeing her team work on the executive orders. There was a school choice executive order, which instructed them to come up with ways that states could use the grant funding and put that in the hands of parents, and I know that they're working on that. But when Linda gets in, I think we're also going to be looking at the big parts of the department, like student loan portfolio, moving that to Treasury, moving some of the Title IX enforcement and the Office of Civil Rights into Justice to really start breaking it up and making good on the president's promise.
Absolutely. And too, I think there's a lot of talk about the curriculum. That's, standardization of curriculum along the lines across the country for a very long time. This can go back to, John D. Rockefeller. We talk a lot about 1980, of course, with the creation of Department of Education itself. But too, I wanted to get your take on, too. I was going to read to you what the mission of the Department of Education is supposed to be. It is developing and enforcing education laws, administering financial aid, collecting data on schools and students, conducting research on education, disseminating information to the public. Do you think that the Department of Education has accomplished that?
Well, the one thing I could say they have done is collect and disseminate information to the public when it comes to the nation's report card.
Yes.
Now, all the other things, the student loan portfolio, we just saw yesterday, Biden's loan forgiveness program was struck down by the courts. So that was completely mismanaged. Last year, the FAFSA rollout of the new online form. I mean, these people couldn't even manage to roll out a new internet form for people to apply for a loan, which affected college going rates around the country. Pretty much everything else that they've done besides tell us how bad they're doing has not been a success.
Yes.
And that's why the American people are behind Donald Trump to get rid of it. He wants to spend that money on students.
Yes.
But when you fill a bureaucracy with individuals who are trying to fulfill their jobs and not really make sure that the students are benefiting from that money, you end up paying for bureaucracy and not for the benefit of students. Donald Trump wants to make sure that if the American people allocate funds through their taxpayer dollars for students, that it reaches the students, and that's what's going to happen.
Absolutely. And, opening up the market in education is such an important role, especially for parents, and focusing on their students because they really want what's best for the students ultimately. So
the most.
Yes, absolutely. And, the state of Florida has done an amazing job with that. So having someone like you and your husband, Representative Byron Donalds, I know you're going to be potentially looking at the language with policy on that moving forward. So I'm very excited to see that, of course, as well. Any plans for you going forward?
Well, America First Policy Institute not only supports this federal level education policy, but we also support states. We just got involved in Tennessee where they passed a universal choice bill just a couple of weeks ago.
Yes.
We're active in Texas, which hopefully will also have a great school choice bill coming up that the president is supporting. So it really needs to happen at the states, and the states need to be bold and pass universal school choice that's going to help increase quality access and innovation for all families. And we're going to see a transformation in education over the next few years.
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Erika. And where can our viewers find you?
At Erika Donalds, Erika with a K, no C, on Twitter, on all social media, and erikadonalds.com.
Well, it's so great speaking with you. And I'm going to go ahead and send it back